Welcome to Magic Moments 3, a feast of goals and action. We've dredged the vaults to bring you some rare footage, so forgive us if the quality isn't quite what you'd expect, but we couldn't resist this action. This time we've split the film into categories: shots, volleys, headers and more. We start with the solo individual efforts. Coming up first, a goal by Cliff Carr against Hull City. Great skills coming up from the little defender. Not the man you'd expect to score a goal of that quality. Steve Foley next against Reading in 1991-92. Typical goal from City's bustling midfielder. Shrugs off two challengers, and what a determined finish. Our next slice of action comes from that epic game against West Bromwich Albion, a 4-3 victory to Stoke. And this, again by Steve Foley, a crucial goal. Kevin Russell is another player who has a knack of scoring vital goals. And just look at this one against Blackpool in 1992-93. Russell picks the ball up 40 yards from goal. Stop me if you can. Great finish. Mansfield Town, the next victims, and the marksman on this occasion, David Regis. A powerful finish again. And this time a mistake by a Preston defender lets him mark Stein, and he makes no mistake. Not the first example we'll see of Stein's goal-scoring prowess on this video, and Stein proves his aptitude against clubs of the highest level by scoring this goal against Manchester United in 93-94. Jubilation in the Stoke ranks. Despair from Schmeichel. The build-up once again. Stein's first touch is good. The finish, even better. And coming up next, a great solo effort from Toddy Orlickson. He chooses not to pass. Might have been in trouble from his manager, but not now. Super shot. And here an effort with just as much quality. Big David Regis scoring against Luton Town. Toddy Orlickson's back in the limelight here against Birmingham City. Catch me if you can, says Orlickson, and the keeper has no chance. Orlickson delighting the fans. What a good run. Power off the ball and power on it as well. Determined finish by Orlickson. A cool head. Determination was the name of the game at Field Mill in extra time in a Coca-Cola Cup tie. And Regis had the better of defender Kevin Gray and the better of goalkeeper Jason Piercy. Brentford were the victims next for Carl Beeston, a man with a knack of scoring important goals. The ball moved very quickly forward. And just savour this. And last but not least, Peter Beagrie against Bournemouth. The sun shining brightly, and so was Beagrie. A fine example of how to turn defence into attack. Bournemouth dispossessed, and Stoke power forward. It's 3 against 3. But Beagrie happy to go all the way on his own. I'm sure you'll agree we've seen some fine goals already. Our next category takes bravery and putting your head in where it hurts. Stoke have had some fine exponents of the heading art over the years, from the delicate flicks of Jimmy Greenhoff to the sheer power of the likes of Cranson and Overson. Cast your minds back to the 1991-92 season when Wayne Biggins scored this peach of a goal against Shrewsbury Town. In the same season, John Butler was on target, this time against Hartlepool United. Here Biggins proves again that the bigger they come, the harder they fall, scoring against Liverpool in the Rumbelows Cup. The delivery of the highest quality, but the leap is sheer bravery as Biggins provides the finish. Blowing the dust off the archive tapes this time for Sammy McIlroy's goal against Brighton and Hove Albion. Good cross and a good near post finish, always so difficult to defend against. Next up, Ian Cranson at the far post, and he's delighted with that finish against local rivals Port Vale. The next Stoke goal comes against Mansfield Town, again at the Victoria Ground. This time Vince Overson takes the applause. It's not often you see headers go in from the edge of the box, but just watch this one as Russell provides the cross. Phillips clears to the edge of the 18-yard box, and the looping header beats the Barnet keeper. Making sure from closer range against the Wolves is Martin Carruthers. And how about this for old footage, the Watney Cup back in the 70s when Jimmy Greenhoff scored this goal against Hull City. A typical and delightful Greenhoff goal. And note the empty terracing behind the goal, terracing that had been cordoned off because of crowd trouble the previous season. The Watney Cup was certainly popular with supporters in those days. Let's just see the goal again. A fine leap by Greenhoff, leaves his defenders standing and picks his spot to perfection. The baseball ground was always a glue pot in the 70s, but that didn't worry Jimmy Greenhoff here. A bad back pass, a good interception, a perfect cross, and another typical Greenhoff finish. It's fun wallowing in the mud, and it's also fun in the sun as Mark Chamberlain provides this cross for Paul Bracewell to finish in a thrilling 4-4 draw against Luton Town. Another look at this goal as Chamberlain uses that electric pace. Luton can't clear. The ball goes in off a defender, but it's Bracewell's goal. Left-footed players are certainly a rare commodity, at least at Stoke City. In making this film, we saw 280 goals and only 20 of them came from the left boot. But the left-footed goals that we do have here are real classics. Our first from Wayne Biggins against Peterborough United in 1991-92. Great turn and another fine finish. The keeper annoyed with his defenders, but so hard to defend against. Birmingham City also found Wayne Biggins quite a handful. He steals a yard on his defender here and gets the shot in first. Mark Stein shows his aptitude for skill around the edge of the 18-yard box. The keeper narrows the angle, but another good finish against Hull City. Russell this time the provider, and Graham Shaw the goal scorer against a beleaguered Swansea City. It was a day of celebration when Stoke played against Burnley at the Victoria Ground, having been presented with the Second Division Championship. And Stein makes his own celebrations with his 33rd goal of the season. Quite a season by the little striker. Nigel Gleghorn shows that he can turn in a tight space, scoring against Peterborough United. But the clock turns even further back here to see Geoff Hurst punish Manchester City on another glue pot surface. And England's World Cup hero proving that even in his early 30s, he still had an eye for goal. Our final action in this section comes from the boot of Sammy Irvine. Notts County the opponents. An icy surface and a strong finish. An ice-cool approach is an essential ingredient in our next category, penalties. There are lots of different ways of taking them, as you'll see in the next few minutes. But it's those who keep their cool who always seem to succeed. Our first demonstration comes from Robbie Painter. Opposition Arsenal and goalkeeper John Lukic. And this time Painter is determined to make sure. Straight down the middle. Wayne Biggins has an excellent record from the penalty spot. A perfect position. The keeper has no chance. Bournemouth the opponents on that occasion. Not even Liverpool could prevent Biggins from scoring from the spot. He shows here that he can vary his style to suit any occasion. It was Mark Stein who took over penalty duties from Wayne Biggins, and another player who likes to slot the ball home in powerful fashion. But look at the contrast between that penalty from Stein and our next one from Toddy Orlickson against Portsmouth. Inside the post, but hit a lot higher, and the keeper again having no chance. Now we go all the way back to 1972. It's Mike Bernard against goalkeeper Bobby Moore, in goal for West Ham United. But Bernard needs 2 attempts to score, and even then there's some debate as the referee consults his linesman. An anxious moment for Bernard, and West Ham hoping that the penalty might be ruled out. But in fact it stood, and Stoke were in jubilant mood. Next, a penalty expert against a penalty expert. Paul Maguire, the scorer, and Paul Cooper, who once saved 9 consecutive penalties, almost getting to it when Stoke played Ipswich. All fans enjoy spectacular goals, but if they can't see their own team score, then there's nothing better than seeing the opposition give a helping hand. And the sight of a player trying to explain his mistake to his teammates is always quite amusing. Our first clip is an FA Cup semi-final in 1972, and it's Arsenal's Peter Simpson who puts through his own goal. Stoke in action here against Reading, and look out for Keith McPherson. What was he doing there? Stoke are in action here against Crewe, and it's Kevin Russell's run that causes all kinds of problems. The ball eventually going in, it seemed, off the goalkeeper. And Mansfield defender Kevin Gray makes a mess of this situation. Regis the first to the ball. Russell beats the fullback, and a good save by the keeper goes in off the defender. Some own goals are unfortunate, but others are totally bizarre. Watch this one by McCarthy when Stoke played Millwall. Quite spectacular. Next up, Tranmere Rovers. Again at the Victoria ground. The cross comes over from the right. Good first header, but Martindale provides the finishing touch. Now, if one own goal in a game isn't bad enough, how about 2 in the space of 2 minutes? Stoke in action here against Barnsley. The cross is dangerous. The finish very soft from Fleming. But just seconds later, the Yorkshire club were in trouble once again. A low cross this time, and the ball in off the heels of Charlie Bishop. This own goal from Linton put Stoke City 2-0 up against Luton Town, but it was a game they lost 6-2. And for good measure, how about this one? Southend United against Stoke. The man on the score sheet this time is Cornwall. Good work by City down the right. Deep cross and a powerful finish. Well, we've seen the delicate build-ups, but there's also another method of getting the ball into the back of the net. Route 1 sees teams go Wimbledon style from back to front in a split second, and Stoke City have proved that they can be exponents of this art as well. Watch here as the ball moves very quickly forward to Paul Randall in this game against Cardiff City. The flick on is superb, and Randall keeps his feet for a super finish. Another long ball here finds Mark Stein. The men chasing are the defenders of Exeter City. But Stein makes no mistake. Cambridge United, under the management of John Beck, knew all about Route 1 tactics, but here Stoke played them at their own game. The ball hit long to Graham Shaw, and how about that for a cool effort? Steve Foley gets on the end of this one against Chester City. Good ball from midfield. And Shaw almost claiming the glory. Middlesbrough caught on the hop here by Toddy Orlickson. An excellent finish. And in this final clip, the ball finds its way from the goalkeeper through to Graham Shaw. Stoke building steadily. Peter Fox with the big kick. And Pompey all at sea as Graham Shaw provides the finishing touch. Now, all managers will tell you that any goal is a good goal. Those poached inside the box are just as sweet as the more spectacular strikes. And here we examine the striker's art, close-range efforts. Our first goal sees Wayne Biggins in action against Fulham, seizing upon a good opportunity and celebrating in the way that only Biggins knows how. Next up, David Kevin, a determined run and a strong finish in support of Biggins. Here Paul Ware has an open goal against Swansea City, but it was the run and determination that was the hallmark of the goal. Next, Mark Stein demonstrates how to score at the near post. The ball moved quickly in from the right. And what a powerful run and a great finish. Pace again on the right-hand side, this time from Mark Chamberlain. The goal scorer here is little Mickey Thomas. City with a more patient build-up this time. And Thomas getting in where it counts. Great perception. Turning the clock back to the 60s, we see Peter Dobing here in action against West Ham United. What a fine, incisive pass. The finish, second time, goes right into the back of the net. Golden years for City. And now Stoke in action against Brighton. And Mickey Thomas again, the man who gets on the end of this one. Lovely low cross from the left, difficult to deal with, and Thomas again reacts the fastest. Here we see the replay. Low ball in from the left-hand side, right from the byline almost. Foster fails to deal with it. Mickey Thomas makes no mistake. Here we see a Stoke move which might have been practiced on the training ground. Maguire's corner to the near post, the flick on, and Dave Watson emphatically hammering the ball away. Spurs this time are the victims. Paul Bracewell this time in action against Liverpool. Watch this Stoke build-up and see Bracewell get there just in the nick of time as the ball comes back off the goalkeeper, and Bracewell had to read it every inch of the way. Kevin Russell, the goal hero this time against West Bromwich Albion. Good ball in from Stein. Ware with the first header, and Russell was there to pick up the pieces at the far post. A typical Russell goal. Good ball in from Stein. Bravery by Ware, but a man always needed to pick up the loose ends. And that goal by Lee Sanford was one of the highlights of the '93 season. A 2-0 victory against rivals Port Vale. The action here switches to a game against Bradford City, and David Kevin is the man who gets the finishing touch this time. Stein with the first effort, off the crossbar, and Kevin is in the right place at exactly the right time. Stoke in action here against Chester. We'll see Stein score a typical goal. Another near post effort by Stein. And how about this for a vital strike? Nigel Gleghorn clinching the second division championship in that game against Plymouth Argyle. West Brom again the unfortunate opponents here as Stein poaches another goal right on the post. certainly a hallmark of his game. Here we see a striker's gamble. David Regis against Nottingham Forest, pushing the defenders every step of the way. And this time a priceless moment against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Carruthers with the first shot, and Mark Stein grabbing his last ever goal for Stoke City. And turning back the clock again here, we see John Ritchie in action against West Ham United. Far post cross, and beats the keeper inside the post. Hull City the opponents this time as Jimmy Greenhoff slams the ball home. The defenders in total dismay. Let's see this again as Greenhoff gets in front of the defenders. The keeper is exposed and the striker picks his spot. And for good measure, another goal by David Regis. Sheer determination creates this one, but a cool finish is necessary. Those really were examples of the highest quality, the true striker's art. The bread and butter goals are the ones from close range, but nothing delights the fans more than the thrill of a goal from long distance. First up is Paul Ware scoring against Birmingham City. The ball played from inside Stoke's half, only half dealt with by the defenders. But how about that for a shot? Mark Stein this time against Cardiff City. Stein, fond of scoring all kinds of goals, shows good first touch and an even better finish. Next up is Paul Ware against Reading. Ware didn't score too many goals for Stoke, but when he did strike, it was always spectacular. Here we see a Mark Stein effort, which might well have been a cross. Stein, of course, claims it was a shot. This one most definitely was. See Carl Beeston in action against Wigan. A poor clearance. The keeper spotted off the line. As cool as you like. And Leicester City, the opposition here, as Nigel Gleghorn slams home a bouncing shot. And didn't he enjoy it? Sometimes it's difficult to put certain goals into categories. To make sure that we bring you the very best of the action, here's a chance for you to see again some real classic finishers. We've entitled this section Right Footers. Mark Chamberlain, the first man to strike here against Brighton and Hove Albion. The ball breaking wide to Chamberlain. Picks his spot and finishes with aplomb. Here's Sammy McIlroy in action against Spurs. The ball won in midfield, quickly hurried forward from the back. And another decisive finish. Preston the opponents here as Mark Stein punishes some sloppy defending. Biggins with plenty of space. Preston in disarray. and Stein makes sure. And here we see Steve Foley score against Barnett. The ball won inside the box, and a striker who certainly knows how to pick his spot. Next up, Toddy Orlickson scoring against Middlesbrough. Bad defending, but what a great strike. And here's another one from the archives. Alan Hudson punishing some indecision by Birmingham City. Picks out Ian Moores, and he picks out the bottom left-hand corner. George Berry with this long ball forward, and Brendan O'Callaghan will get on the end of it to punish Luton Town. A scooping effort, but the keeper was nowhere near it. Some goals are created from nothing, but others are handed on a plate. They all need scoring. We see here exactly how defensive blunders should be punished. There's particular emphasis as well on those madcap custodians between the sticks. Here we see Bolton keeper Andy Dibble dabbling outside the box, and Ian Scott is the man who punishes the error. The next defence to suffer, Wigan Athletic. The man who makes them pay is Wayne Biggins. Biggins capitalises again here against Peterborough United. Barber the man in goal. What was he doing there? Two more Barber blunders coming up. But next, Mark Stein in action against Exeter City. Stoke again rampaging forward. Keeper does well with the initial shot, but he can't prevent Stein from scoring on the follow-up. Paul Ware's the man in the limelight this time against Huddersfield Town. The keeper is in no man's land. And here's the first of two blunders from Steve Pears, the Middlesbrough keeper. Martin Carruthers punishing the first one. And here, Gary Bannister takes advantage of a dreadful clearance. Coming up next, another goalkeeping blunder. Oxford United this time punished by David Regis. Quick thinking by Regis. And he's just as sharp here against Peterborough United. The keeper again having a rush of blood, and Regis makes sure. That the first of two more Fred Barber blunders. This is the second. Barber vacating his goal mouth to the amazement of his defenders, and the finish from Wayne Biggins. Back in the 70s, Stoke in action here against Arsenal, an FA Cup semi-final in 1971. Charlie George putting goalkeeper Bob Wilson in all kinds of trouble, and John Ritchie doesn't miss that kind of chance. And real archive footage here. Stoke against West Ham United. The action building from the left. Burrow's the man who follows in here to score at the far post. There's no escaping the fact that some players have more natural ability than others. It doesn't matter how long they practice on the training ground. One skill in particular is blessed to only certain players: the fine art of volleying. First, we see one of City's best, Wayne Biggins against Southend United. Stoke raiding on the left. Southend unable to clear. And see from this throw-in how Biggins strikes to punish United. Great finish, and coming up another great strike from Simon Steinrod, this time against Walsall. A goal which stems from a corner. The ball only half cleared. What a fine goal. Nicky Morgan was a player who also knew how to strike a ball on the volley. And this one to Millwall's peril. Again the build-up from the flank. Close range, but the finish was emphatic. And here Paul Barnes gives another demonstration of how a volley should be executed. Time perhaps for another Mark Stein goal. Fulham the opposition, and Stein so much enjoys scoring at the near post. Carl Beeston there against Chester City. And coming up, Steve Foley against Rotherham United. Regis with the cross. Foley has the space, and that one inviting the volley. Another goal from Steve Foley, this time against Hull City. The cross to the far post. Stein with the touch. And Foley simply guiding the ball home. The examples now coming thick and fast. No better exponent though than Mark Stein, who scored 2 volleys in one game against West Brom. That was the first, right across the goalkeeper. This is the second. Stoke clear down the left-hand side. And how about that one? Nigel Gleghorn shows here against Stockport County that he too is a capable volleyer. Stockport furious, Gleghorn delighted. And here we have a goal by Conroy against West Ham United. The greasy surface helped, but the volley was cleanly struck. And savoured this one from Jeff Hurst against QPR. The tightest of angles, but Phil Parkes had no chance. But coming up, the best of the lot. Birmingham City the victims. That vintage striker, Jimmy Greenhoff, amazing. We see this one again, the ball played, that is how to volley too. And just for good measure, let's have another one from the boot of Greenhoff. Derby County the opponents this time on that glue pot of a baseball ground pitch. Derby struggle to get the ball clear, and when the cross comes in, Greenhoff is claiming the goal. And last but not least, Brendan O'Callaghan against Cardiff City. The old-fashioned up and under, and a superb finish once again. This ball not the easiest to control, but O'Callaghan saw it every inch of the way and hit it as it dropped onto his boot. Throughout this video, we've seen many ways of scoring a goal. Finesse is a joy to see, but there's no substitute for those battling qualities inside the penalty area. It's a skill that separates true goal scorers from the rest. We start with a man who has finesse and bravery. Hunger in the box sees Biggins score here against Hartlepool United. And coming up, another goal by Biggins. The opposition this time, Cardiff City. A flighted free kick, and again it's great determination that sees Biggins at the third opportunity plant that ball home. Brighton the opponents this time, and Lee Sanford with the finishing touch after the ball had come back off the crossbar. And look at Mark Stein's tenacity here against Mansfield Town. Bravery at the far post, and Stein is allowed to celebrate. Toddy Orlickson next. The ball ping-pongs its way home against Grimsby Town. Martin Carruthers gets between two Portsmouth defenders and then foils the goalkeeper, and determination and commitment the order of the day once again. This FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal will evoke a few memories. Dennis Smith is the man who provides the finishing touch. And another favourite from the past, Garth Crooks, scoring again inside the 6-yard box. Many teams favour short passes from corners. In recent times, Stoke have profited from the old-fashioned type of corner. And why not, when you've such powerful players in your ranks as Vince Overson and Ian Cranson. We see Cranson scoring here against Leyton Orient. The corner from the right. And Cranson leaps above everyone. Lee Sanford next against West Bromwich Albion. A local derby and a goal to fit it. Wayne Biggins isn't the tallest of players, but he rises above everyone here to score against Wigan Athletic. And another one here from Ian Cranson. West Brom again the victims, and it's sheer power that wins the day. Another angle on this goal sees just how high Cranson leaps. Kevin Russell, the provider for Paul Ware against Huddersfield Town. A different kind of header, a shunted effort inside the goalkeeper's right-hand post. And remember this one? Nigel Gleghorn scoring against local rivals Port Vale. It's not often you see Mark Stein score with his head, but he was left unmarked at the far post by hapless Mansfield Town. It takes composure and a certain kind of coolness to score any kind of goal. But imagine the adrenaline rush of racing through with only the goalkeeper to beat and the crowd anticipating a goal. One player who didn't always keep his head in that situation was Stoke's Tony Kelly, but he got it right in the cup against Liverpool. A memorable goal on a memorable night. We see again the defensive mistake which Kelly seizes upon and finds a space right between Grobbelaar's legs. To nutmeg the goalkeeper is one method of scoring a one-on-one, but you can also try hammering the ball from the edge of the box. Mark Stein against Huddersfield Town. Wayne Biggins next against Darlington. The ball bobbles around on the edge of the box, and Biggins as cool as you like. The other method, of course, is to simply take the ball around the goalkeeper, just as Kevin Russell does here against West Brom. Another angle as Russell keeps his feet and finds the net. We've seen Mark Stein score already against Mansfield Town. Let's see another one. Round the keeper again, and it was a quick reaction that led to the goal. Paul Ware in action this time against Mansfield Town in the same game. Stoke winning the ball on the left. Ware is clean through. Very similar to the one scored by Stein. Going to the left of the keeper seems to be quite the fashion. Martin Carruthers does it this time, but outside the 18-yard box. Now let's see how David Regis executes his finish against Watford. The long ball forward, a good header, and he stumbles the ball home. And turning the clock back yet again, let's see John Ritchie in action against Leeds United. Graceful move forward by Hudson. Ritchie is strong and stands up to shoot past the keeper. Golden memories. There can be nothing more satisfying than seeing the hours spent practicing free kicks on the training ground reach fruition in a game. And it's the same highly skilled marksmen who seem to make this art a hallmark of their game. Our first action sees Wayne Biggins against Bolton Wanderers. Another Biggins goal here, Peterborough United the opposition. And it doesn't matter how many players are in this defensive wall. Another goal coming up against Peterborough United. Paul Ware, the goal scorer. An effort that sent Stoke on their way to Wembley. The man who peels off the wall is the key to that goal. Next, Nigel Gleghorn punishes Reading. A low effort which the keeper had no chance with. Savour this one from Toddy Orlickson in the Anglo-Italian against Cosenza. And last but not least, Mark Walters scoring against Sunderland. It's the power-packed goals that lift fans from their seats, shots that can often end up in row G of the stand. But when they do hit the net, they're unforgettable. Like this one from Mickey Thomas against Liverpool. From all of 30 yards out. We see again the ball pushed forward and only half cleared by Phil Thompson. Thomas shows a good first touch, The second touch even better. Carl Beeston here punishes Swansea City. An emphatic volley which gave the keeper no chance. And Graham Shaw demonstrates just as much power against Burnley. Shaw the hero in that game. Cranson the man who milks the applause here against Huddersfield Town. A goal I'm sure that he'll remember for a long time. Mark Stein against Rotherham United. Picked the corner well, but look at this one by Carruthers against Mansfield Town. Another one here from Stein against the illustrious opponents from Manchester United. A goal right from the top draw. Schmeichel dejected, Stein delighted. And even from this angle in slow motion, the ball fairly whizzes past the hapless United keeper. Torry Orlickson next against Watford. You can't score from a much tighter angle than that one. Watford again the opposition as David Regis bends that one home. Regis runs his defenders ragged and bludgeons the ball into the back of the net. And the last in this section from the boot of John Mahoney against Leeds United. Great goals, but we've saved the best till last. This section includes the goals that you, the fans, have relived time and time again over the years. Examples of goal-scoring skill at its very, very best. Delighting the fans with his skills here is Stoke winger Peter Beagrie against Barnsley. Watch as the ball works its way in from the left-hand side. Skips past two challengers and scores emphatically. The celebrations just as spectacular. Next, Paul Barnes against Birmingham City. The corner headed on. Watch what happens next. Stockport counter the opponents this time as Mark Stein gets in behind the defenders and scores in the cheekiest of style. But you can't help feeling sorry for Preston here as Biggins scores a gem of a goal. We see in slow motion the delicacy of that chip over the keeper. Mansfield Town the victims this time, Biggins the scorer once again. Just watch the sharp turn and the clinical finish. Stoke in action here against Hull City. Mark Stein gets another Stoke goal. And watch this run by John Butler as he sets up another goal for Stein against local rivals Port Vale. Butler sets off, skips past three challengers, gets in the cross. Stein makes sure. And Nigel Gleghorn scoring here in another derby game against Wolves. Keeps his feet and finishes in good fashion. Nottingham Forest the opponents this time. And Stein is once again the scorer. What a bend on that shot. Stoke fans delighted. And we see here again as Stein gets into space and finishes with great tenacity. Forest at disarray. An incredible bend on that effort. Steve Foley, though, wasn't to be outdone against Derby County. He can chip a ball too with the outside of his boot. But pure class to finish from the great Alan Hudson. Seen here taking the throw-in. Collects the ball. A neat 1-2. And the finish even neater. Here we see again how graceful Hudson is on the ball. A lovely deft pass, a sharp turn in the mud, and the vision to score a perfect goal. We said that was the end, but not quite. We couldn't resist giving you one more section of those golden Stoke goals. No categories this time. Headers, volleys, shots, they're all here, so sit back and savour those magic moments.